Good morning. Hello, good morning. Well, welcome to Microsoft Identity-Driven Security Overview. My name is Demi Albuz. I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager in our Enterprise Mobility and Security Suite marketing team. Today I will tell you about our security technologies. I'm not going to be a fearmonger because I think we have had enough of it so far in the show. I want to show you how our innovative technologies can help you to solve the security challenges that you have in your environment. So we have about 15 minutes, not too long. I will provide you an overview, and we have all of our technical experts at the booth. So afterwards, you can talk to them. They can show you the demos of the products. I want to talk about what kind of challenges we have and currently in security space. You've been hearing about all of this yesterday and today in the show. If you had the pre-day, you pretty much know about all the security issues, and you deal with it every day. So I'm not going to go into details of what is happening, but I really want to emphasize what is important and what are the specifics that we can address. What we are seeing in the space is your users are pretty much way more mobile, and they're using cloud applications. And one of the things that I hear from you a lot is, well, yes, I know cloud is secure. I know they will use mobile devices. But really makes me uncomfortable is the fact that I don't have the visibility and the control that I used to have. We provide you solutions to address this. There's so many different categories in the market right now to help you with your security challenge. I can name these, like mobile device management, mobile application management, data loss prevention, information rights management, user and entity behavioral analytics. They all have acronyms. And honestly, it's like an alphabet soup. It's really difficult. And all of these solutions help you with a part of the problem, but the problem, they're all overlapping to a certain extent. And it's really hard to get our heads around how these solutions are getting together and how they're helping us in our environments to identify and to solve the challenges that we have. What we are seeing is, although we have so many different solutions, the current defenses that we have are not sufficient. You may have traditional security information and event management systems. You may have this MDM, MAM, a variety of different solutions, but you don't have a holistic way to address the problem. This is why we have been investing a lot within Microsoft on security. We made 3 key acquisitions in the security area, Airado, Atalom, and Secure Islands. All of them is a part of our enterprise mobility and security suite. We are serious in security, and we think that we should bring the most innovative technologies, and we also should give you a holistic solution so you can have all different these categories within the same suite, so you don't have to deal with several different vendors, because we know that that's a problem for you too. Because security approach needs to be honestly really holistic. You can just start with the devices and say, I'm just going to secure the mobile devices, but what about the user's identity? What if that user's identity is stolen? What about the applications that they're accessing? How do I protect the data? Especially with the recent regulations in Europe, this is becoming even more critical. You have to have a holistic approach, and also it has to be identity-driven. Because as we all know, attackers first reach out to identities, and they hide under the identity of an innocent user. And we believe the solutions also needs to be innovative. The attackers have really changed their techniques. So we need to be innovative as well. We have to change our techniques. We have to come with the sophisticated analytics technologies to identify these attackers in our systems. And finally, our solutions are intelligent. What does that mean? It's an overused term. Everybody says intelligent. What we mean by that is we have this collective intelligence in Microsoft. We have Digital Crimes Unit. We have Microsoft Consulting Services. We fight this battle every single day. Our identities get breached every day too. But the idea is not about to be breached. The idea is to be able to detect it before they access critical information. And to be able to do that, you really need to have deep intelligence, collective, cumulative intelligence that we have across our products, and we share that information across our products, just like Brett Simmet mentioned at the keynote yesterday. So how do our solutions come together? Okay, Demi, you have like a holistic approach, but I don't really understand how this is going to, come together in my environment. We see this in 3 steps. After talking to you and after, explaining how our solutions work together, we see really this in 3 steps when it comes to securing your environment. The first step is protecting your organization at the front door. How do we protect access? With advanced risk-based conditional access. Okay, so I have just made sure that the right people came in. When they're inside, when I have my users, okay, they're accessing the network, how do I protect my data? Data can go anywhere, as we know, to mobile devices, to cloud applications. I'm in a regulated industry. I'm really concerned about where my data goes. How do I protect my data? We protect the file right at the creation. This is, again, based on one of our acquisitions that we have done, Secure Islands. We start protecting the file right at the creation. We classify it, we label it, and we identify the access levels, and we apply rights management right away. And finally, no matter what we do, there is always a scenario of bad guys with bad behavior. And that is how we detect threats and remediate. For this, we use sophisticated technologies, and I will talk to you about that at the end. Let's start with protecting at the front door. Or in other words, protecting access. The first thing we want to do is make sure that we want to have the right people in. I don't want an attacker hiding under the identity of an innocent user coming into my network. For this, we have Azure Active Directory. And we have risk-based conditional access. We see risk just like any other factor to decide whether I will let somebody in or not. I will look at user risk. I will look at which device they're coming from. Is the device healthy or not? The location that they're coming from, the user group. We already have multi-factor authentication. I'm quite sure you do have MFA. It's great hygiene. But we have to take it to the next level. So we introduce risk-based conditional access. What does it mean? So if a user is having several failed login attempts, or if they're showing suspicious behavior, abnormal behavior, behavior that they don't normally have, what we do, we have a higher risk score for the user. And based on this, we can allow access, block access, or we can push that user to multi-factor authentication. That is what we need. We need to now include risk for protecting your organization at the front door. In addition to that, we have privileged identity management. As you know, admin accounts are very vulnerable, especially when attackers start to use them. Why? Because they have got rights to the network. How do I make sure that I protect my privileged identities? Well, we need to have hygiene there, too. We need to make sure that there are no idle admin accounts. If somebody doesn't need to have an admin account just for a year, then I just give them just-in-time access. That is Azure Active Directory Privileged Identity Management. Just by getting this visibility, it saves you so much headache, and it helps you to protect your organization right at the access level. Second part here is protecting your data anywhere. Data protection is very important, especially with the recent regulations that we are seeing in Europe. You know, data is everywhere, so how do I protect my data? As I said earlier, this starts right at the file creation. There's so many different DLP scenarios out there. So if just the CASB solution tells you that we address everything, you can't believe it. It's just like DLP, and you know it too. So there's so many different DLP scenarios out there. How do I address them? You have to classify and label sensitive files right at the creation. Users can do it. You can create specific policies for it, so you can auto-classify it. So let's say if there's a file that has customer PII information, we can have a template and we can auto-classify that file right away. When you classify a file, it actually creates a label. It identifies the access level, as well as it does encryption. And that travels with the file, wherever it goes, on-premises in the cloud. That's the only way to address all the different DLP scenarios out there. And what about if this file goes to a SaaS application? We made another key acquisition there, Adallom, which became Microsoft Cloud App Security. It's our cloud access security broker solution. It gives you visibility, it gives you control. I can discover all cloud applications that my employees are using. You may say, I'm not on the cloud. Unfortunately, your employees will be. And you can discover this without installing any agents on user devices, because we get the information from your firewalls and your proxies. You can discover them, and you can start controlling them through policy. You can extend your policies on premises to your cloud applications. And more importantly, Cloud App Security integrates with Azure Information Protection. So I can read file labels. I can create policies based on file labels. If a sensitive file goes to a public link, I will get a notification. Or I can push a policy. I can actually create governance around that. Another key piece is mobile device management. We have Microsoft Intune. You may be familiar with it. Again, how do I protect my data in mobile devices? Through Microsoft Intune. We have unparalleled capabilities of securing Office 365 applications in your employees' user devices. And the last part is detecting attacks and remediating. I mentioned this earlier. If an attacker is hiding under the identity of an innocent user, either through a phishing email or they access the user's credentials. As you know, most of the critical attacks that we've seen, Target, Sony, all of them actually initially went through a user credential, then they found a privileged identity. To be able to understand this or to really detect this, we need behavioral analytics and advanced anomaly detection. This is why we made a key acquisition, Aerado, which is a user and entity behavioral analytics technology, which became Microsoft Advanced Threat Analytics. What do? We look for your behavior on a normal day, how you behave normally, and then we look for anomalies. This is similar to, in a concept level, to fraud detection. You're here right now. If somebody is fueling their car in China with your credit card, you will get a call and say, hey, there's something wrong in your account. They may even block your account before asking you. This is, on a concept level, the same thing. The technology is way more sophisticated. So what we do, we use behavioral analytics to identify your normal behavior. If there is an abnormal behavior, we tell you. And we actually tell the admin too, and we say, hey, there is an anomaly with the behavior. This user's credentials may have been breached. And you can cut the attack right at that level before it reaches out to an admin. We do this on the cloud with Microsoft Cloud App Security and Azure Active Directory Premium. So behavioral analytics is pretty much built into all of our technologies right now. And everything is backed with our collective security intelligence, what we call intelligent security graph. If Digital Crimes Unit in Microsoft finds a bad IP, Microsoft Azure Active Directory benefits from that. Cloud App Security benefits from that. So we have this collective intelligence. We have billions of threat signals that we receive every day. We have a lot of endpoints. We have a lot of devices. We live this every day. We fight with attackers ourselves every day, and that intelligence is built into our products with Microsoft Intelligent Security Graph. Our goal is to provide you a set of solutions that help you to protect first. And no matter what we do, there's going to be a detection element because breach, as you know, is inevitable. And then how do we respond to it and how do we learn from it? And we have technologies across Microsoft that helps you in all of these three levels through Microsoft, Windows, Azure, and Office 365. I think that brings me to the end of my presentation. I'm right at 15 minutes. Do you have some questions? All right, well, thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions or if you want to get a demo, please, we have all the technical experts at the booth. Otherwise, please have a great RSA. Thank you.